In the introduction of Hyperfocus, Chris Bailey sets the stage with an urgent and relatable premise. We live in a world saturated with distractions, and our most valuable resource isn't time, money, or even energy. It's our attention. This idea might seem simple at first, but it's profound once you reflect on it deeply. Attention is the gateway to every single experience in your life. What you focus on becomes your reality. If you spend your time constantly distracted by notifications, mindless scrolling, or endless multitasking, then your life becomes fragmented, scattered, and reactive. On the other hand, if you learn to direct your attention deliberately, if you learn to focus with intention, then you gain control over how you experience the world, how productive you are, how satisfied you feel, and how meaningful your life becomes. This is the heart of Bailey's message, and he spends the introduction building a compelling case for why attention must be protected, trained, and used with care. Bailey isn't just speaking from theory. He has spent years experimenting with his own productivity, even going so far as to isolate himself from all distractions for extended periods, track his time, and explore the neuroscience behind attention. One of the key insights he shares early on is that our minds are not built to handle the overstimulating environment we now live in. The modern world bombards us with stimuli that hijack our brain's natural reward systems. Every ping of a notification, every new headline, every social media like is designed to trigger a burst of dopamine. Over time, this makes our minds crave novelty, weakening our capacity for deep, focused work. Bailey likens this to being constantly pulled by invisible threads in every direction. We're busy, yes, but we're not necessarily productive. In fact, the more we multitask or jump between tasks, the more we train our minds to be distracted. It's like strengthening the wrong muscle, one that makes it harder, not easier, to live intentionally. But what exactly is attention, and why is it so powerful? Bailey defines attention as the spotlight of our consciousness. Whatever we shine it on becomes clearer, more detailed, more meaningful. If we spend time focusing on a problem, we begin to understand it more deeply. If we focus on a relationship, it begins to strengthen. If we focus on our goals, we naturally begin moving toward them. This might sound like common sense, but it's rarely common practice. Most of us let our attention be dictated by external forces, what others demand of us, what our phones suggest, what the news floods us with, rather than choosing what to focus on. This unconscious drift is what Bailey calls autopilot mode. In autopilot, we move through our day reacting to things without truly engaging with them. We respond to emails as they come in. We check our phones reflexively. We move from one shallow task to another without ever diving deep. And yet, because we're always doing something, we feel busy. We feel like we're working hard. But the truth is, we're not making meaningful progress. We're just staying afloat. This is where Bailey introduces the concept of hyperfocus. Hyperfocus is the antidote to autopilot. It's a state of intense, deliberate, distraction-free attention on a single task. When you're in hyperfocus, you're fully present. Time slows down. You get more done in less time. Your brain enters a state of high cognitive efficiency. Think about moments when you've become completely absorbed in something, writing an essay, editing a photo, having a deep conversation, playing an instrument. That's hyperfocus. It's the mental equivalent of putting blinders on and directing all your cognitive resources in one direction. Bailey argues that this is the most productive mode our brain can operate in, and yet we access it far too rarely because we don't protect our attention from distractions. But hyperfocus is not just about productivity. It's also about meaning. When you give your full attention to something, you not only do it better, you enjoy it more. You feel more connected to the task, more satisfied afterward. You become immersed in the present moment. In a way, hyperfocus is also about mindfulness. What makes Bailey's insight even more powerful is that he doesn't only focus on the doing side of attention. He also emphasizes the creative subconscious side, what he later calls scatterfocus. This is the opposite of hyperfocus. Instead of zooming in on a single task, scatterfocus is when you intentionally let your mind wander. It's the mental state that allows creativity, insight, and idea generation to flourish. When you take a walk, wash dishes, or relax in the shower, those moments when your mind isn't focused on anything specific, your brain begins connecting dots in the background. You remember things you'd forgotten. You make new associations. This is not wasted time. It's an essential part of how the brain processes complex ideas and forms new ones. Just as focus is crucial for execution, scatterfocus is vital for innovation. Bailey argues that modern life is robbing us of this too. Because we fill every empty moment with stimulation, checking phones while waiting in line, watching videos while eating, we leave no space for ideas to emerge. So, Bailey's introduction does more than just identify a problem. It reframes how we should think about attention altogether. Rather than seeing attention as something passive, something that just happens, he encourages us to treat it as an intentional practice. Just like physical fitness, attention must be trained. Just like nutrition, it must be fed the right inputs. And just like emotional intelligence, it must be used in harmony with our values and goals. He encourages us to ask the hard questions. What am I focusing on right now? Is it intentional? Or is it reactive? What would happen if I gave my full attention to something meaningful for an hour a day? These questions are not just practical, they're transformational. They shift the narrative from one of time management to one of attention management, from doing more to doing better. A key psychological connection here is with the idea of cognitive load. The brain has a limited amount of processing capacity at any given moment. If we split it between multiple tasks, everything becomes slower, shallower, and less effective. This ties directly into Daniel Kahneman's concept of System 1 and System 2 thinking, from thinking, fast, and slow. Autopilot is System 1, fast, intuitive, reactive. Hyperfocus engages System 2, slow, deliberate, effortful. But because System 2 consumes more energy, we avoid it unless we make a conscious effort. That's why Bailey's idea of intentionally triggering hyperfocus is so powerful. It pushes us into the state where we're most capable, even if it requires overcoming initial resistance. Ultimately, the introduction of hyperfocus isn't just an opening chapter, it's a mental reset. It tells us that the stakes are high. This isn't about productivity hacks or to-do list tricks. It's about attention as the steering wheel of your life. Wherever your attention goes, your life follows. If you want to live intentionally, deeply, creatively, and meaningfully, you have to start with what you focus on. Bailey invites us to stop being passive consumers of attention and instead become its active guardians. In a world designed to distract us, the greatest rebellion is to focus.